Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Stock Talk, series where we cover exciting news and price action on a few stocks that are exciting me personally at the moment. Today, we are going to be focusing on some of my favorite hyper growth names in the market right now. Although many of these names have gotten absolutely smoked over the past week or so, I want you guys to know that I'm still bullish, and I want to remind you guys, like I remind myself, that corrections present opportunities when you know you have a good thing going, and ultimately, pressure makes diamonds, baby. All right, so we got a thick one today. We have a lot of charts to look at and a lot of news articles to go over as well, so let's get straight into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive in. All right, so in front of us, the huge trading view, where we'll cover technicals and price targets on the following names today. In this order, going down the watch, so you can see right here on the right, kicking it off with good old Churchill Capital, or soon to be Lucid Motors, CCIV as of right now, LCID hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And again, today, at the time of recording, I'm recording this on Wednesday the 14th. Maybe you're watching this at a later date. That's okay, because I will be covering short and medium term time frames in this video. So we'll kick it off with CCIV, move on to Workhorse, good old EV. So three of these are going to be EV green energy plays. And then the last one that's actually hiding right now is going to be space. So Virgin Galactic, want to throw that in there as well, because that's a new face that I'm pretty excited about. Not necessarily new, but it's been a very long time since I've covered it. So I do want to talk about that because in my mind, especially after this great correction that it's seen over the past couple of days, all the hype around Virgin Galactic, I do feel like it's necessary to cover the stock and give you guys my opinion on this as well as cover the recent news that's involved as well. Okay, so CCIV, Workhorse, move on to Hyliion. As I always say when I do these stock talks on EVs, Hyliion, so much potential, such a great asymmetric trade, which means the upside potential outweighs the downside risk at this specific moment in time. I do think that Hyliion is a great buy at this moment. As always, you guys, all this is just my opinion. This is not financial advice, but always know my money is where my mouth is. Move on to Hyliion. And then move on to another. This is actually a new face on the entire channel. I've never actually covered this, have been covering it in the newsletter and portfolio over the past couple of days, and that is Quantumscape. So Quantumscape, very, very exciting company, very promising company in the green energy and EV sector. So I do want to talk to you guys about Quantumscape, take a look at it on the charts, give you guys a quick rundown of what Quantumscape does fundamentally as a company, and most importantly, just let you guys know what my general opinion is. And in the future, I will likely do a solo analysis on that. So please let me know down below if you guys have heard of Quantumscape in the past, because I'm pretty curious as to how many of you guys have traded that or are aware of this company to date. Okay, and then once again, we will close it out with good old SPCE. That's kind of tough to say in the ticker. SPCE, or ticker symbol space, or Virgin Galactic. Once again, following those big moves, space moves from Mr. Richard Branson and Virgin Galactic. Okay, so those are the names we are going to be looking at on the chart today. Once again, talking price targets on a short and medium term time horizon today, and technicals as well. But with every one of these, so we're going to go back and forth as we go through this video, all right? For a few of these names, not all of them, but four out of the five, I do have a complimentary article to go through over as well, okay? So the first one for CCIV is going to be Lucid Motors. Ignore Wall Street and buy CCIV stock on Lucid Management's confidence. This is a great article, just came out. I know there's a lot of negative hype or FUD around CCIV at the moment following this investor conference, or this kind of investor press release that they just released yesterday the 13th. And I do want to clarify this. I've answered a lot of your questions about this kind of in private in the Discord and whatnot. And this article does a very good job at summing up the reality behind kind of that share dilution, the share dilution that everyone's talking about and everyone's scared of, that led to the negative price action that we just saw today. Okay, so first one here, of course, we will go down the line, kick it off with this, go here, check out Lucid, always establish the fundamentals prior to going into the technicals. So after that, we will move on to this Workhorse. This is a pretty short article. Most of these are very short. The Hyliion one is actually just a headline, but this one regarding Workhorse. Workhorse Group volatile in late action on report of USPS Watchdog Group action. So this price action actually happened yesterday. I did send one of those crazy like 5-minute candles into the Discord group, like what is going on here. If you guys saw that crazy volume spike, that crazy spike in price, like sporadic spike in price at the end of the trading day on Tuesday the 13th. Okay, so I'll quickly go over this, the reasoning behind that. Hyliion is the next one. This is just straight up, we're not going to go into the specifics here, but Hyliion is scheduled to announce their next earnings, their Q2 earnings, which I think are going to be very, very bullish and definitely a bull fundamental catalyst for Hyliion for, of course, more bullish upside price action. So pretty much as a headline read here, just get excited for this earnings call August 11th, and then close it out before we get into SPCE. Virgin Galactic falls 17% after it gets set to sell $500 million in stock following Branson's successful flight. Okay, so again, very, very bullish. Very, very bullish action by Richard Branson. Very, very good optics around the company. Very, very good marketing event. Maybe the best marketing event that Virgin could possibly do, sending their CEO and founder to space, okay? But again, they use that. They leveraged that opportunity to announce this stock, this actual share dilution, the straight up $500 million dilution, which I don't blame them at all for. But since it's seen a correction once again, I think that this was a great opportunity personally to accumulate some of what is, in my mind, a very, very good long-term play. Okay, so on that note, on the note of accumulation, I want to kick off the video by setting the tone. That is the reason that I titled this video Pressure Makes Diamonds, by reading for you guys the intro, which is a very thoughtful intro. I did put some time into this one. So let me know if you guys are part of the newsletter family. Let me know if you did like this intro. The intro to this morning's newsletter. Again, my portfolio melted this morning, and I've been here many times before, and I will likely be here many times again. And it's very, very important to remind yourself, especially on days like today, days when it's hard, that hardship builds character in the long run. If you want to stay in this game for a long time, if you want longevity in this sport that is trading, you need thick skin, you need those calluses. So let's read through this, and then we'll dive into all the good stuff, okay? It's kind of a TED Talk, motivational speech, so if you guys don't want to listen to this, just skip forward a couple of minutes, okay? It's Wednesday, and these calluses on my cheeks couldn't be getting any thicker from getting repeatedly slapped in the face. The equity indices are green, with big tech leading the charge, but risk-on growth sectors are getting absolutely creamed. Unfortunately, my portfolio is completely comprised of the latter. Fortunately, though, my focus isn't on the day-to-day price action. It's on the medium to longer-term potential of these companies. I'm always a bit bummed on days like today, not because my net worth is melting in front of my eyes. Again, I'm used to this. I understand it's all part of the bigger picture, but because I know some of you may be struggling at the moment as well. As I said yesterday, eyes on the prize. When you know you have a good thing going, stick with it. Stick to the master plan, you guys. If you have a plan in place, if you are convicted, if you have fundamental conviction around plays, stick with it. Don't get scared away. Resilience is a strong character trait to possess in this game. Again, if you want longevity, you got to have thick skin. You got to have resilience. Hardship builds character, and corrections present opportunities. Repeat that over and over again to yourself when your portfolio is bleeding. It makes the wounds sting a little less. Straighten up, soldier. Look alive. Pressure creates diamonds, okay? Pressure creates diamonds. That's enough cheesy motivational one-liners for now. Today was a pretty busy trading day. We'll talk about that. Of course, in terms of trading, I was pretty active on utilizing these corrections to my benefit, hopefully when it comes to the medium to longer term time horizons, all right? So again, that's that, you guys. Just remember this. If you guys, just remind yourselves of these cheeky little one-liners on days when it gets hard, because that's very, very necessary for the long term, keeping the spirits up, keeping a smile on your face, keeping overall demeanor high, all right? If you guys, plug time, housekeeping time, if you guys do want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every single trading day during market hours, along with a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, call options, put options, stock positions, crypto positions, all of it, 50 to 60, actually right now closer to probably like 70 positions in there at any given time, complete breakdown, everything. I do update that every single trading day during market hours with any trades I made that day, any swaps, any new positions. And along with each update, I do send out a complimentary email newsletter explaining my thoughts, talking about the trades I made, rationalizing my thoughts behind those trades, as well as just throwing in some charts, throwing in some price targets in real time. Anything that I feel like is important to share with you guys, even like newsletters like this, like when it gets a little more motivational, when I feel it's important, I will do that. So that is going to be 15 bones a month or 40 every 3 months. First link down in the description. Again, along with that, you also get, I do update the actual curriculum with the portfolio every day, of course. Daily newsletter, throw the PDF of the newsletter in there every day as well. And you also get the new exclusive Sunday Stock Watch. I think we're 4 weeks into that now. It's going very, very well. So every Sunday and actually every Friday, those days, I do not release YouTube videos. Those are now reserved for the Waves fam, for the newsletter portfolio group. So it really means a lot if you guys check this out. Put a lot of work into it, and I do my best to make it worth your time and money, okay? So again, first link down below. Really means a lot if you guys check it out. If not, no worries. Other standard things, if you want to gain value, if you're bullish, if you got diamond hands, if you like to think you got diamond hands at least, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, all that good stuff, okay? So let's dive into this. Again, we will kick it off with the articles prior to moving into the charts. Always want to set that fundamental base layer for the bull argument. So let's read over this and then just go back and forth between some of these articles and the charts, all right? So ignore Wall Street. Lucid Motors hosted an investor call yesterday in which management provided updates on the business ahead of its impending merger with Churchill Capital. CCIV stock rallied into the call but dropped soon after. Despite maintaining that Lucid is on track to begin delivering its EVs in the second half of 2021, investors zeroed in on the fact that CEO Peter Rawlinson did not deliver a definitive date for said deliveries. This vague answer didn't please investors who perceived it as weakness. However, Rawlinson knows Wall Street is a stickler for deadlines. By sticking to Lucid's prior delivery estimate range, he is refusing to give investors a deadline the company can't meet. This makes sense, and this is the reason we walked away from the call bullish. With Rawlinson, you have a CEO who wishes to underpromise and overdeliver. That's a good principle that you can apply to many aspects in your life. Kiddos, always underpromise and overdeliver. Not calling you kiddos, but that's just kind of like a classic old man dad thing to say. But for real, underpromise, overdeliver. Can't tell you how many times my dad has told me that in the past. Or at the very least, he doesn't want to give Wall Street a date that Lucid Motors cannot meet with 100% certainty. And in the grand scheme of things, whether deliveries begin in the third or fourth quarter won't make a difference. Wall Street is just being finicky. More importantly, Rawlinson endorsed Lucid's 5-year outlook yesterday in which the company targets 250,000 deliveries and revenues of $23 billion by 2026. So obviously, long-term time horizon there, long-term targets, 2026 is 5 years out. But if they can execute on this, and again, Lucid targeting the luxury market, brilliant. There's more freaking luxury. Luxury is hotter than ever. There's more money in the luxury markets, in the people who buy luxury goods than ever before. There's just so much. You guys know better than anyone. There's so much freaking capital out there right now that's why I really like how Lucid is they're a luxury electric vehicle maker. The EV's hot, luxury hot. Double whammy right there, okay? So bottom line on CCIV stock, according to the author here, Lucid Motors sticking to long-term targets yet failing to disclose an exact date for EV deliveries gives us confidence that management's own confidence in Lucid's long-term outlook is strong and genuine. And for that reason, as well as everything we've been praising Lucid Motors for recently, we remain bullish on the long-term growth prospects of CCIV stock. So well said. Shout out to the author, man. Credit where credit's due. I feel like I read this guy's stuff a lot, and I always agree with it. So Luke Longo, shout out to the double L. Luke Longo, well written, and I appreciate all the work you do, and appreciate me being able to read these for all of you guys, okay? So let's talk technicals right now. Short term, we'll kick it off with short term and move out as to how I see the next 30 days, just roughly 30 days playing out for CCIV, and then we'll kind of use that same narrative to drive all the other TAs and all the chart readings that we're going to go through today. Okay, so CCIV today unfortunately did break a pretty significant line of support on the short term uptrend. So of course, CCIV is still in a strong uptrend right now. Like this, although we did break support today, which is innately short term bearish, we are still technically in a bear trend. So you can see this sign line right here, obvious line of support, did actually break that the other day and did close a 4-hour. Actually didn't close a 4-hour below that. So it dipped below that, but closed a 4-hour above it. As many of you know, a 4-hour closure below a trend line or above a trend line is usually like my indicator of general direction. Closed above it, bounced up a little bit, but with kind of that negative news following that investor call, which again, many people perceive to be negative. A lot of people are talking about the share dilution, and what I was saying is yeah, they are asking to potentially dilute these shares over time, but so many public companies have that same thing in place. Just because they ask for billions of shares down the line does not mean they're just going to dump all those shares. It just gives them the option to exercise that dilution over time. Okay, so they're not just going to flood the market with 1 billion shares. It's going to happen gradually over time. They just want that option for when it does, if they need to fundraise, because this is not a cheap sport. Okay, so again, short term, we have broken support officially today, but we are still in an uptrend. So you could say that we are still kind of setting a higher low on this uptrend, high, low, higher high, as long as we are technically above, in my opinion, above about $22, then we are still technically setting that higher low. Maybe we come down a little more short term because there is, again, a lot of fear in there. There's a lot of long squeeze, a lot of margin calls happening right now in not only CCIV, but a lot of the risk on market. That's why you're seeing such staggering moves. But at the same time, I remain bullish for all the reasons mentioned in this article. Whoa! But let's close that guy. But anyway, regardless, I still remain bullish even if we do see more short-term downside. I can't imagine we get below $22 just because there's so much hype. And the merger, of course, is coming up on the 22nd, 23rd, okay? So, again, as far as price targets go, my initial price target is in place of about $36. That would be the base of this gap over here when CCIV fell off an absolute cliff, gap down in one of the biggest gaps I've ever seen ever. The base of this gap is at about 40 bucks. Okay, so actually the base of this gap, I'm sorry, is at $36. So my conservative price target for CCIV is going to be 36 bucks. Would not surprise me at all to really fill that gap out at 40 bucks. And once we break $40, we're pretty much in blue sky. We'll cover that, we'll cross that bridge when if and when we get to it. I'm pretty confident it's going to be a when, not an if, but we'll cross those like really high level price targets once we break 40 bucks. But for now, 36 to 40 bucks is going to be my price target. I think this merger is going to go over well. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around EVs and CCIV and many of the names we're covering today. So as I said in the beginning, I remain bullish. All right, that's CCIV. Let's move on to Workhorse. Again, we'll kick it off with this quick. Workhorse Group, NASDAQ Workhorse, broke higher in late trading on a Bloomberg headline that a USPS watchdog group is planning to audit the electric vehicle transition plans in place. Workhorse filed a complaint in June about the USPS contract in the U.S. Court of Federal Claims. Okay. So as many of you know, this, as of right now, Oshkosh, this company right here mentioned below, not covering it, but Oshkosh is kind of, you could say, favored to win that USPS contract for developing all of these electric-based USPS delivery vehicles. But again, Workhorse, although this is not like a really tangible, this is kind of just like a hype. This is like literally just a headline. It's not tangibly good news. This is still bullish long-term because Workhorse is still like a tiny company, $1.4 billion valuation. They don't only have that in their pipeline. They're working on a lot of other cool stuff too. They are a meme stock, although meme stocks like AMC and GME are tanking. I think that if there is a meme stock that wins it, it's going to be Workhorse. So like AMC, I'm going to be covering this in the Waves Weekly this weekend, but AMC is like wanting to make more shares. We all know AMC is a thriving company, especially coming out of the pandemic. Very financially sound, very lucrative company as far as business is concerned. Obviously kidding. Workhorse, way smaller market cap, takes less capital to inflate the individual share price. It's a way more promising company. It's in the EV space. They have a potential contract coming up. They're doing kind of a two-wave. The technicals overall look great, which we'll talk about. And I just think that if there is going to be a meme stock that wins, if a lot of these Reddit investors do flock to one stock that has the most opportunity, I think Workhorse is also the most shorted out of all the meme stocks with like 80% of the float in short. Like it's insane. So Workhorse has so many catalysts going for it. It's a shame that it's been falling off a cliff, but again, a lot of people just getting margin called out and long squeezed out, getting scared out of their positions. But I remain bullish, and I still have a very strong price target for Workhorse. Okay, so let's talk about that. Workhorse right now technically is at the base of this potential head and shoulders. This purple line right here is the low on this mirrored shoulder way back here in mid-April. So this is a low in mid-April prior to really going down and creating that inverse head for this inverse head and shoulders. We did like just bounce off of that low this morning, closed almost directly on top of it, and we are definitely still in a short-term downtrend. So at the very least, short-term, I would expect Workhorse to bounce up here to test the resistance on this downtrend. Again, lower highs and lower lows here. That's a downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low. Probably set a lower high on this resistance for the hat trick for the third time, which would take us up to like, I mean, if we hit it like July 21st, July 22nd, that would take us up to almost 17 bucks, which from 11.45 is a pretty beautiful percentage increase, okay? But at the same time, if we do play out this massive head and shoulders that is in place, and this shoulder, if this does mirror correctly, this takes us all the way to early August. And again, I'm fine practicing it patient. So many names. A lot of you guys weren't around. Like I was talking about this in the Discord as well. Let me know if you were around for those early days with Riot and Mar before they popped off. Like, you guys, I've been like, this is so standard. Spawning something hot, and then pretty much just waiting, just setting it, forget it. Again, these days suck. They're no fun. I hate seeing my net worth melting. But again, that's why it's important to keep your eyes on the prize and focus on the overall goal here. Focus on the master plan, okay? My price targets are set, and I'm pretty set on holding these positions until my ultimate price targets are hit, okay? It's not just these price, it's like everything I'm talking about. Again, all the fundamentals, all the technicals. It's the combination of things that make me bullish on these plays. And again, like negative price action sucks, but ultimately it's not going to change my opinion. It just once again presents opportunities, slow down, opportunities for me to accumulate at lower prices. Diamonds, baby. Okay, so again, Workhorse is in the process of potentially playing out this massive inverse head and shoulders here. if this does resolve, if this this other shoulder, I guess this left shoulder, because it's inverted, left shoulder does mirror the right one, then that would take us all the way to early August once again, if this plays out completely. And again, I doubt it's just gonna gap up like this did, because this is a straight up gap down once that USPS like contract kind of fell through. After all that hype, again, Workhorse has seen like ridiculous highs in the past. Workhorse was once at like $43, now sitting at 11, so crazy correction there. But again, that I'd love to see that, because it's obviously a known play. There's volume coming back. I love to see volume, especially on small cap plays, and I think there's a lot of potential here, especially with all the things that all the things I just said that I'm not going to repeat. Okay, just very, very excited about the potential of this, like raw potential of this play. Okay, so if all goes accordingly, early August price target for Workhorse is going to be just under $30. Conservative, 28, but I do think that we can easily fill this gap around 30 even. Okay, so Workhorse, move on to Hyliion. Again, Hyliion Holdings scheduled second quarter 2021 financial results conference call and webcast for August 11th. Mark the date, you guys, if you're interested in Hyliion. That is a little ways out, okay? But Hyliion, again, they've been expanding operations. If you just watched that recent solo analysis, kind of updated solo analysis I did on Hyliion maybe a month or so ago now, they are making they're expanding their headquarters in Texas. They're doing great things. Hyliion, again, the niche they fill in the EV green energy sector is so unique. They make powertrains for transport vehicles, so like roads or like just big trucks, right? Semi trucks. One of the most prominent jobs in the U.S. is truck drivers. Okay, and semi trucks, for obvious reasons, transport everything across the U.S. Very high demand. The beauty of Hyliion is they sell the drivetrains or the powertrains. Okay, what powers that truck? If they can just target a small percentage of all the trucks on the road, and they do like hybrid stuff too, so it's not full conversion, it's hybrid. Like just go watch I'm not going to run this too long because we still have more to cover, but go look into Hyliion for yourself, know what they do, and they serve such an obviously successful niche in, once again, the EV green energy market. Okay, so let's take a look at the charts here. Hyliion, unfortunately, today did close below a very significant line of support. I guess you could say this is kind of the line of support. This is the real line of support right here. So maybe Hyliion does come down to about $9. I'm not going to be phased. I'm loading up on anything under $10. Shout out to Portfolio Group. Did load up on more Hyliion today, because again, I'm focused on the longer term. Right now, we are in this descending channel. I just can't imagine with the fundamental strength and the potential surrounding Hyliion. What's their market cap at? Is at $1.7 billion. Cheap for the long-term potential of this stock. Again, right now, I have to imagine, because we've just been going down for the better part of 2 weeks now, I have to imagine we're going to see a bounce. Obviously, if we bounce, I do expect us to test the top side of this ascending channel. That is around 1150 by like July 22nd, July 23rd, just where my cursor's falling. And if we break at this point, straight up, if we break as of tomorrow, if we break $12.20, this red line right here, which is the overall line of resistance on Hyliion, that's going to make me super bullish. That's why I have the rocket right here. Once this red line is broken, it's off to the races. I'm not going to zoom out now. I've done it many times in the past, but keep an eye on like the $12 level from here, you guys. At this point, if we break $12, I'm extremely bullish on Hyliion from a technical perspective, okay? So that's Hyliion. Let's move on to Quantumscape. This is the one play we do not have. This is the one play we do not actually have an article to complement, but that's okay because it's a new face, and I will be talking about this more in the future. Just looking at Quantumscape, you guys. Again, I will do a solo analysis on the future. Go to quantumscape.com. Sick website. Learn what they do. They produce engines for all of these companies, like for GM, like they're trying to collaborate with a lot of these car companies that are trying to move into the future. The reason Ford, GM have been ripping lately is because they are moving into EVs. They're expanding their EV. Like, it's the obvious move from these companies. It's great they're evolving. You'd expect them to do as such. But Quantumscape makes electric engines for these companies that are trying to bridge the gap between traditional automaking and new age automaking with EVs, okay? So Quantumscape, just straight up looking at this, pretty much reached like a new low today on this correction and is basing very close to this initial high. So as far as asymmetric risk, I was just talking about Hyliion being a great asymmetric risk profile. I cannot imagine Quantumscape dipping below this initial high back here all the way back in November of 2020 at about $21, currently sitting at 23. That's only a potential 10% down, but the upside is insane. You can see what Quantumscape is capable of. This was all the way up at $133 at one point, currently sitting at $22. That's almost an 85% correction. So again, you guys, this is the time to accumulate. This company Like EVs aren't going anywhere. This technology isn't going anywhere. This is just a bubble, classic boom bust cycle. And this right here, this capitulation zone, is exactly where I want to be loading up on some great positions for the long term. Okay, so again, just looking at this, I love a chart that looks like this. Again, not saying I'm buying like calls that expire 7 days out on Quantumscape right now, but as far as the long term potential goes, I love the look of this chart. With a long-term time horizon in mind. Okay, so that's Quantumscape. Let's close it out with good old Virgin Galactic or space. Again, not too much technicals to look at here, but I just want to give you guys my general thoughts. Let's read through some of this and then close it out on the charts. Shares of Virgin Galactic slipped on Monday after the company filed to sell up to $500 million in common stock. This follows the commercial spaceflight company's successful test flight with founder Sir Richard Branson. Virgin Galactic, which trades under the ticker SPCE, nailed it, fell 17.3% after it filed notice of its stock sale offering, with the SEC trading in Virgin Galactic was briefly halted Monday morning due to volatility. Virgin Galactic has $240 million shares outstanding, of which 164.6 million are available to the public for trading, which is known, of course, as the float. Based on Friday's closing price of $49.20, Virgin's $500 million share offering would equate to nearly 10.2 million shares. On Sunday, the company successfully completed its first fully crewed test flight into suborbital space, a major milestone in the commercial space race and a step towards the goal of commercial service in 2022. So, shout out to Richard Branson, man. I mean, this guy deserved, in my opinion, to be like the first guy in space. If you guys don't know who Richard Branson is, get in the game, man. But Richard Branson is like the OG, like cool entrepreneur. Like this dude is so sick. Like he's like the OG. Like I guarantee he's like the entrepreneur. He's like the cool entrepreneurs to the cool entrepreneurs. Like Elon Musk, guarantee still does look up, but looked up and really led by example when it comes to Richard Branson and the example that he set. Okay, so Richard Branson deserves to be in space. Bezos going to space. At some point, Musk is probably going to go to space. Pretty sketchy. Would not want to be on some of these test flights, but I respect it. I respect them sticking to their guns and the confidence that you need to have in your company's ability to execute to get on a plane to space is paramount and really speaks to the confidence you have in your company. Okay, so again, props here. Optically amazing. I don't blame them all for using this marketing event to sell some stock. That's exactly what I would do. Same thing for CCIV and Lucid Motors. Like, this is business, you guys. Like, the reason companies go public is to make money. That's why companies go public. Companies aren't just going public for the greater good. They're going public to make money to supply their endeavors, okay? So, again, especially when you're in the early days of a company like Virgin or like CCIV, like in these revolutionary areas, you need money to build your business, okay? This stuff isn't cheap, especially when you're working with revolutionary, uncharted territory. You need money to create product, to propel product, and that's just how the markets work. That's just standard business 101, okay? Regardless, my price target for SPCE ever since this news was released was about $35. Granted, this spike up, we were pretty much at $35 just about a month ago. But again, up here, I knew this was a buy the hype, sell the news event. I kept saying it over and over again in the Discord, and that's exactly what it happened to be. But now that we've corrected, the share offering did scare many names away. I was able to establish a great position. Once again, shout out Portfolio Newsletter, a great position at about $33.50 this morning. And I'm very, very happy with that entry price because long term, I would not be surprised at all if we see $100 SPCE. Of course, right now the market cap is just at about $8 billion. So that would equate to what's that? Like a 3x from here. That'd be just call it like a $30 billion stock, which in the grand scheme of things, in these markets, there's so much damn capital flying around. A $30 billion share price is not out of the realm of possibility at all. So like $25-30 billion market cap, is not out of the realm of possibility for one of the companies that is pioneering space travel and space tourism, okay? So technically, again, right now, I guess you could just say macro, like from a macro perspective, we are in this like downtrend right here. So this line could be used as a line of support. Like shorter term, this line of support was definitely broken. Once that was broken, we fell off an absolute cliff. I'm Japanese, so I can make that joke. I do think we can bounce up here at the very least to test the previous line of support as new resistance, TA101 right there. Maybe it takes some time, but if just from a short-term swing trade perspective, this definitely has potential for a bounce. Now that we've based out on, honestly, a very strong base right here at around like 33 bucks, I can't imagine us dipping lower. Lowest, like worst case scenario, in my opinion, is going to be about 28 bucks, which is another like 15% down. But when you're talking about a potential like downside of 15%, let's close it out with this nice price range, and an upside price range of like, if we say we test it, let's say we test it July 26th, so near the end of the month, that's a potential 64% up for 15% down. That's how I trade, you guys. Asymmetric risk profile, just pretty much use that to dictate every trade I ever make. So we'll call it there, you guys. Please let me know in the comments. That one felt good, man. I was sharp today. That one felt super good. Beefy, but I felt like we got through that in good time, in a timely manner, okay? Please let me know down below if you guys have diamond hands, if you guys saw your net worth melt today, because it's okay. We're all in this together, and it's just part of the game, baby, okay? So let me know down below if you remain bullish. What of the plays that we talked about today are you personally the most bullish on, long-term and short-term? And yeah, if you guys want to know exactly how I'm trading these, once again, really means a lot if you check this out. Once again, put a lot of work into it today. It's not just the portfolio newsletter. Sunday stock watch, Fridays are for the fam. Only do the newsletters on Fridays. And yeah, so 15 bucks a month, 40 bucks for 3 months. First link down below. We'll call it there, you guys. I'll catch you downstairs in the comments. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.